Oh, hello, my wonderful broskis and broskers of the Maverick Nation. Mm. And what I did not mention in the last video was basically this is going to be a nostalgia timeline. Basically, of stuff that I have done in the past and that is not finished. Like what ifs. So, the next that I seem to have that I have to do a part of is what if Izuku was Aizen's descendant, like a descendant of Aizen, or whatever. And this is gonna be part 8. Basically, in part 7, we have 3 basic, Spada members. There is, there's Shoto as the Primera Espada. There's Mina as the number 2 Espada. There's Ochako as the number 3 Espada. And over time, everyone gets basically collected, and, basically Izuku calls a meeting, you know, proceeds to basically tell everyone he's going to tell them what their rank is going to be. I'm basically going to be naming off the people in their rank. So basically, since 1, 2, 3 are all off the table, we're just going. Plus 0 is Akuma, the basic, the little girl. So 0, 1, 2, and 3 are off the table. So number 4. Izuku would say that seeing as I had managed to basically, Shoto and whoever that went with Shoto basically convinced. Took like a while, but they eventually did convince Tokoyami to join. And basically, Izuku says Tokoyami will be the Quattro Espada. And basically, with number 5, he basically says Kirishima's name. And if you guys are wondering why I have Tokoyami as number 4 and Kirishima as number 5, well, for one thing, Kirishima's quirk hardening. It's basically, well, the number 5 is spotted in Bleach, Noyatora Gilga. He had the strongest Hierro, which is basically a defensive ability. And, the quirk hardening is like a defensive ability thing. And, well, hardening is like really strong and shit. So, it does seem to make sense for me, and if you guys are wondering about the whole Tokoyami thing, I was just looking for some guy in like class 1A or something that I thought would, make, I guess, a tiny bit of sense. Something. And then again, Tokoyami's quirk is Dark Shadow, and Ceroscuros is basically Dark Zero. So you're only changing one word. And so number 6 Espada, he's basically like, Bakugo, you're number 6. You're Espada numero 6. And Bakugo is like, wait, what? Like, I go through all of this trouble, and I end up getting, roped into this, and you guys are gonna make me number 6? Like, below all these other jobber hero people and shit. The only reason Bakugo's even here is because he heard about Izuku being the mastermind behind all of it. Take a wild guess at who spilled the beans during that confrontation. You know about Izuku being in charge of the whole damn thing. That's the only real reason why Bakugo's a part of this. But he kind of has to hide that. He's basically going to be the Itachi of the group. You know, like getting information from the inside. And, basically, Izuku just ignores Bakugo and just like, number 7, Shinso. Like Hitoshi Shinso. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. Hitoshi Shinso. Or some shit. So yeah, Shinso. That one guy that Izuku fought in canon. You know, yeah. Izuku basically says that number 7 will be Shinso. And it kind of does make sense. I mean, Somari had a more, and Shinso has his brainwash quirk. They kind of are the same vein of obscurely weird powers. And so then they're going to get to the number 8 Espada. Momo Yaoyorozu. You will be Espada numero 8. And that leaves only you left. Asu, you will be Espada numero 9. I hope that's how you pronounce 9 in Spanish. It's something like that. So yeah, Asui is basically the weakest out of all of them. In like terms of ranking. And Izuku is basically just like, now we wait until the time is right. Now you may go. I will call you back whenever it is time for our next meeting. He basically just like, huh, and just sends them all off. Bakugo stays for a little bit, and like Shoto's off in the background. And Bakugo's just like, okay, nerd, what's your whole business with putting me at number 6? I could really kill you right now. Having me be underneath that loser girl. What is she, like your girlfriend or something? Number 6. Ugh. Why can't I be number 3 and her be number 6? I mean, at least I wouldn't look as weak. Are you trying to make me look weak, nerd? And Shoto would just be like, I don't think that'd be very smart of you to speak of you know who in that way. Lord Midoriya. Please excuse Bakugo's ranting and raving. He doesn't truly know what's good for him. Not yet, at least. And Bakugo would just be like, what are you... frick? Don't put words in my mouth, Shoto. And Shoto's just like, right. And Shoto, at this point, he'd have the ability to put on that spiritual pressure, and he would just like squash Bakugo with his spiritual pressure. And Bakugo would be like, fine. Am I excused? And Shoto would kind of just stare at Bakugo. Bakugo would roll his eyes. Am I excused? Lord Midoriya. And he would just be holding back the urge to vomit. And Izuku would be like, plenty excused, Kacchan. Plenty excused. Now, run along. I'll need you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for whenever we have our next session. And as for you, Shoto, you better do the same. Primera Espada or not, I can't have you slouching on me. And Shoto would be like, gladly, Lord Midoriya. Gladly. And if you guys are wondering why he's calling him Lord Midoriya, well, it's basically kind of like a favor for a favor thing, kind of like shaking hands with the devil. You know, Shoto's kind of been seductively, ushered into, the whole, Espada business. He's kind of been, ushered in, coaxed into the whole thing. It's almost like some sort of, uh, I don't know really how you would call it. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know what else you could call it. But you know, just Shoto has been more ushered into the concept more than anyone else. So that's why he's calling him Lord Midoriya. You know, plus he did give him the opportunity to kill his father. And you know, Shoto's been feeling really comfortable with his life. Now that things are, you know, you know, uh, more on the sunny side up, if you get what I mean. Giggity giggity. And as for Bakugo, he's not really going to tell anyone yet. He still believes he needs more evidence. He needs more proof to hold on to. I mean, he has proof in the pudding right there, but you know, he needs to make sure that he gets some he knocks him for a loop at the right moment, just the right moment, where he can say it's hook, line, and sinker. You know, it would just be, Bakugo versus the Espada, right behind their backs. But in all truth of the matter, Izuku knows what Bakugo's trying to pull by being all complacent. And even with the whole Lord Midoriya shit, he knows that's something Bakugo would never do willingly. So he knows that something's up. You know, he's a couple thousand steps ahead of Bakugo whenever it comes to, you know, knowing your enemy and being able to get underneath their skin without them even knowing it until it's too late. So yeah, Bakugo's trying to get behind the back of the Espada, and Izuku has already got behind the back of Bakugo, before he even knew what hit him. And Bakugo doesn't even know that, so yeah. Does not look like it's going to be looking good for Bakugo. It's that's just dangerous. How clever, just shooting the shit down. So yeah, everyone's gone off to their quote-unquote normal lives. So as Izuku, Izuku's the one who does most of the backseat stuff, behind the scenes territory. So he usually gets home later than everyone else gets home to their home. He's usually the person who's like later to get home because he has to take care of all the backseat territory and manage the whole hollow Nomu experiment thing. Because how do you think Red and Blue came to be? I literally mentioned like a Nomu hollow experiment thing. I don't think I mentioned experiment, but how else do you think that appearance like that would come about? So, yeah, Izuku's been doing some shady shit for quite some time. Like, no one really knows how long Izuku's been doing the shady shit. But, Aizen does. Aizen and Black and Akuma do. But that's because they're like the three closest people that Izuku would even marginally trust with his shady shit. So yeah, we do indeed have some very tasty content. We know about the whole game of hot potato in between Bakugo, the Espada, and Izuku just playing himself. It's like there's Bakugo, there's the Espada, and there's Izuku. Like basically a game of hot potato, who's in control? But hey, we all know it's Izuku. He's the descendant of Aizen. Come on. Plus that whole scene with the Class 1A, and Izuku's like, Shatter Kyokasu Getsu. Bakugo's in Class 1A, so he's still under the, freaking ultimate hypnosis. So yeah, Bakugo really doesn't have a chance. It's just, it's just sad. Sad how Bakugo is just trying to leap for a good cause, but it's just sad how much we know it's not gonna work. Because, he's already underneath the freaking ultimate hypnosis. There's nothing he can do. He is basically shat on before shat on even became a thing. Or ever will become a thing. So yeah, we have that. And, well, that just seems to be the spiciest root of spiciness here we have on this channel. Yes, the spiciest root of spiciness. It's kind of like Kratos with calling Atreus boy all the time. We don't even need to get into freaking God of War 4 territory. Just, shit. That's all you need to know. Is shit. Anyways, Alan's Anadasas, because the Dark Shadow Member XOUT out of here. Yeah, boys. Bye.